Now, shares in the US retailer GameStop have jumped in value again as small investors continued their attack on major corporate investors. The minnows have managed to push the price of shares in the loss-making video games retailer to unimaginable highs, leaving hedge funds with billions of dollars in losses. Our business and global trade correspondent Paul McNamara has the latest.
The stock that put to sea, the name of the stock was GME. The price blew up and the short dipped down.
In these times of woe, a tale's truly tall when it gets its own shanty. And this battle of the brokers is worth billions.
One day when the trading is done, we'll take our gains and go.
As the trading bell rang in New York today, all eyes were on one stock.
This morning, we are watching GameStop.
For months, hedge funds were betting big the video game store was on the rocks. But over the last week, millions of small-time investors thought different and bet even bigger. David depriving Goliath of grand gains. That was until last night when their preferred trading platform, Robinhood, turned sheriff of Nottingham and stopped letting them buy any more shares. Cue accusations of foul play and a chief exec on the defensive.
This was a technical and operational decision that we made because Robinhood, as a brokerage, has financial requirements.
Unacceptable and an inquiry needed, said left-wing Democrats, only to be agreed with by right-wing Republicans. So what on Wall Street could have unified US politics? Well, before we get there, a quick explainer. Welcome to my hedge fund. Let's say today the markets are showing me that a GameStop share is worth £20. But I don't think it's worth £20. I think it's going to go down soon. Now, I don't own a GameStop share at the moment. How do I make money? Well, I could borrow one from someone who does. Here's my borrowed share. I then sell it into the market, and the market gives me £20. Now I wait, the price goes down, it's now worth just £10, and I can buy it back. Now I've got my share and £10 profit, and I can give this share back to the person I borrowed it from. I'm in the money. What the hedge funds didn't reckon on was vloggers like Roaring Kitty who thought the value would rise.
This is going to be the first video of the kitty corner, and the market has kind of forced my hand on this one. The first stock that I'm going to talk about is GameStop.
That was 6 months ago. Since then, millions more investors amassed and coordinated on the internet forum Reddit. In the last week, GameStop's share price has exploded, from hovering in the teens to hitting a high of more than $400 a share, as small buyers piled in and hedge funds lost out.
It's the regular Joes versus Wall Street, and that's what, when I put money into it, I said, even if this goes to zero and I lose everything, I like being a part of it.
So the little guy socks it to Wall Street. But is this form of collusion legal?
If institutions were to come together and collectively make a decision either to buy or sell an asset, that would be against market practices. But this is a grey area where we've seen retail traders come together on an online forum and they've managed to move prices significantly. And that's potentially where the regulators might come in.
As of this afternoon, GameStop shares continue to rise. But beware the fundamentals of sports, investing and indeed life. Past performance is no guarantee of future results.
We'll take our gains and go.
So is it modern day Robin Hood and the end of capitalism? Joining me now is the financial economist Francis Coppola and Yanis Varoufakis, the economist and former Greek finance minister. Francis Coppola first. I mean, is it the beginning of the end?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm a little bit cynical about these things because in my experience, when you've got a lot of, day traders and so forth doing something like this, somewhere in the middle of them are professional traders who are telling them what to do and telling them exactly what to attack. And that's what I think is going on here. Reddit is pseudonymous. We don't know who these people are, but somebody is teaching day traders how to do a gamma squeeze. This isn't an ordinary short at all. And I don't believe that it's quite the populist revolt story that it's being sold as.
Yanis Varoufakis, is there something more profound going on?
Well, I don't disagree with Francis, but yes, I do think there is something more profound. because a very large number, or at least a significant minority amongst the 4 million traders that ganged together against the hedge funds, were driven by ideological reasons. They ganged together. I mean, you did hear somebody say before that I don't care if I lose the money. I just want all of us little people to get together and to sock it to the hedge funds. The argument that this is collusion is hilarious, because what is a hedge fund? A hedge fund takes money from all sorts of different moneyed people and operates as a cartel in order to short particular stocks. So it is, the mother of all collusions. So it is a David and Goliath story. I wish it was a different version of a more efficacious version of Occupy Wall Street. In my last book, Another Now, I imagined, this is a fantasy of mine, that Occupy Wall Street did include financial engineering, did include these swarms of activists that bring financial capitalism down, because I'm a lefty. I call them crowd shorters, actually. So I was quite excited to see this happening. It's not what I was envisaging, or, it's not part of my fantasy. It's not an attack on capitalism, but it does contain elements of a popular movement, a 21st version of collective action, which would be the equivalent of the 19th century trades union movement.
Francis Coppola, I mean, what is the risk to these small investors when the price goes back down and they're left holding the paper? Can they end up losing everything?
Yeah, they can, absolutely. Particularly if they bought towards the top of the price rise, they can lose an awful lot of money. And historically, when we've seen these kind of bubbles before, the people who know what they're doing, who by and large have a lot of money, but are professionals in the game and know how to read the signals, they get out early, leaving the small guys to take the hit. And my guess is that's exactly what will happen this time as well.
So what's your advice to all those people going, oh, well, I'll just go on Reddit and see what they're saying and make myself a fortune?
Oh, absolutely. Go on Reddit and see what they're saying. I mean, the more transparency, the better. But just be aware of the risks. That there are wolves in sheep's clothing in this particular sheep flock. And I would be a little bit careful about following the advice of what people are saying on Reddit.
Yanis Varoufakis?
Look, they can't lose a lot of money because each one of those people that collaborated on Reddit put a very small amount of money. The average bet was $40. So even if they lose all of it, the beauty of this is like Lilliputians. Each one of them has put a little bit of effort in. They may lose it. They can make a very large profit rate, or they may lose it all. But it's not, it's pocket money individually. The power of that army of traders comes from the size, and that is what is new here.
And so do you want it to continue? I mean, do you want capitalism to eat itself?
Well, look, capitalism is already morphing into an awful kind of techno-feudalism. We don't have capitalism the way that Adam Smith was describing it. We don't have competitive markets. We have very few, very large companies that are cornering every single market, owning the place. And then the rest of capitalism is completely fueled by central bank money. We have this complete disconnect. Financial markets are doing fantastically when, real people and real companies and real capitalists are suffering. Never before has there been this chasm between the stock exchange, the money markets, asset prices, and very, very low profitability. So capitalism is already going through a major spasm. It would be wonderful if activists used financial engineering in order to, have a say in our future. Am I predicting it will happen? I have no such prophetic capacities.
Yeah, Yanis Varoufakis and Francis Coppola, thank you both very much.